Part 6. Survival of the Beasts, Awakening the Beast Taming System at the Beginning. Author, Ji Sheng Chong. Chapter 51. Lin Yu still remembers a scene. He was holding a row of milk, crying non-stop. That was when he first arrived at his grandparents' house. Rural area. He went to the village primary school and had a few playmates. Lin Yu still remembers that the scene at that time was very simple and happy. That was probably his childhood. Later, he changed to a primary school and went to the 6th grade, and then went to school in the town. During this period, Lin Yu returned to his grandmother's house. His grandmother was very good and doted on him. Thinking about it now, Lin Yu was ignorant at that time, and even felt that he was just confused before the age of 16. He could not remember when he knew that his mother had separated from his father a long time ago, but they had never obtained a divorce certificate. When he was still very young, his father brought another woman home and gave birth to a younger sister and a younger brother. In the end, his family did not have a very specific education, but only understood some rules, and then they kept telling him to study hard. When he was a teenager, he met a very strange and familiar mother. The memories ended here. A large bowl of wontons had been eaten, and Lin Yu's heart was very depressed. In China, he was a very ordinary teenager. Apart from his decent appearance, he was not very noticeable in the crowd. After entering middle school, Lin Yu went to a junior college. There, Lin Yu grew up a lot. Gradually, he became withdrawn. He could talk to everyone, but his social circle was not big, but no one understood him. He liked to read stories in books and had fantasized about becoming a favorite character. Later, because of money. His family was not very rich, and could even be said to be poor. In terms of appearance, he had been confessed to by some girls, and this was not bragging. But they all refused. For a while, he was ridiculously inferior. Later, he no longer stopped at novels, and began to read some philosophy, history, and other books that made him feel sublimated. This further cultivated his withdrawn heart. In this era, young people get happiness in a variety of ways, so I won't go into details. Lin Yu wanted to write what he saw and heard into a story. He hoped to live a simple life, marry a girl he liked, be healthy, safe and happy, have another son and a daughter, watch them grow up, and see the scenery in every corner of the blue star. Such a life, no regrets. Later, he came here. Later, he sat here. Later, he thought of those things at this moment. Lin Yu's eyes suddenly burst out with determination. No one saw that Xiao I was eating and didn't speak, and Lin Jiju was the same. As for the table next door, they were chatting happily. If there is anything, look forward, if there is a difficulty, crush him. They went to the night market again and bought a lot of things. Everyone was a little reluctant. This is much happier than the castle on the top of the mountain. Lying on the soft bed, Lin Yu found many books about Sui Yu. It was not until midnight that he fell asleep. One generation built the city in a place where strong winds raged from time to time. Hundreds of years later, the second generation came. Then there was chaos. They also had a beast controlling system. When a second generation person rode a strange beast and entered the city with strange weapons. The gunshots broke the lives of the first generation people. The second generation people were extremely united. After a period of settling down, they almost overturned the entire Suiyu city. The second generation people, who showed their strong strength, also realized that the people here were so similar to the last dynasty of the ancient feudal dynasty of China. After asking clearly, the second generation people said that the Qing dynasty fell a few hundred years later. All the first generation people were shocked, not only because of what they said, but also because the second generation people came from China 300 years later. Then, the first generation people gradually accepted this fact. The first generation people merged with the second generation people. Then came the third generation people 10 years ago. They were much more interesting. The mobile phone had no signal here. After hearing the accent of the third generation people, the second generation people realized that they were another group of people who came through. After asking, they turned out to be from the 21st century with tall buildings. This time, no war broke out. System upgrades will also increase lifespans, but the first generation has been more than 400 years old. Except for the old antiques who practice the Blood Emperor Sutra to a high level, most of them have already rested in this world. Some of those who are still alive are also very old. Seeing the Chinese people more than 400 years later, they are so excited that they can't be described. The third generation dared to innovate. It turned Suiyu into what it is today. The fusion of hundreds of years of Chinese history formed Suiyu City. Lin Yu finally understood it in his heart. After digesting it, he roughly understood the history of Suiyu City. Lin Yu actually wanted to know the story of the beast taming system. He found a book from a pile of books next to him and started reading. Today I heard someone talk about the second generation system. I think the systems used by the first generation, the second generation and the third generation are all different. But he thought too much. The three generation systems are all the same. It's just called that. As for the fourth generation system, the fourth generation has been here too short and has not yet made a name for themselves, let alone studying the system. Then there is system development. When it reaches level 30, the system will no longer be updated, but various software with functions can be installed. This is the scanning function that someone used this evening. The system of the fourth generation has not yet reached level 30, so there should be many functions that have not been updated. There is a book written by 3 generations, which says that the system is a mobile phone installed in the head. Very vivid. He was very interested in the so-called software and found a book specifically written about it. The boss was right, reading is really useful. Books will have the answers. There will be time. Reading is useful at any time. The so-called software is actually the function of the system. It is combined with a variety of special gems and then absorbed by the system to form software. Absorb, just put it in your backpack. It's very simple. Let's talk about the scanning software first. Lin Yu learned that there is a kind of gem called a record gem. If you want to become a resident of Suiyu City or live here for a long time, you need to drop a drop of blood on the record gem. Including your natal animals, everything needs to be recorded. Connected with the recording gem is the scanning gem. These two gems have many functions, and once they are put into the backpack, they cannot be taken out. This also forms the so-called software. Lin Yu also found it interesting. When are you going to install a software and wonder if there are pesticides? No. Pesticides were not available 10 years ago. It doesn't matter. There are still 4 generations left. I'm optimistic about you. Lin Yu muttered to himself and smiled again. I read the book until late at night. Survival of the Beasts, Awakening the Beast Taming System at the Beginning. Author, Ji Sheng Chong. Chapter 52. July 6th. The second day after arriving in Suiyu. In the morning, this medium-priced inn has a buffet to choose from. Lin Yu has nothing to choose from. It is much better than eating barbecue. Lin Yu found a seat by himself. Lin Jiju could not maintain her human form for a whole day, so she slept in the room upstairs. Xiaoi carried the plate and looked for Lin Yu's figure. He found that he was sitting alone by the window with his back to her. For some reason, Xiaoi hesitated for a moment. But she walked to the opposite side of Lin Yu and sat down. Brother Lin Yu, good morning, he greeted her. Good morning. Lin Yu was silent, and Xiaoi agreed. In fact, they didn't get along like this before. Since joining the caravan, Lin Yu started to talk less. And then last night. Lin Yu's eyes made Xiaoai a little strange. Lin Yu said, "Why, what are your plans for today?" Xiao Yi ate and thought for a while before saying, "Let's have fun. This is my first time in the alien city. There are so many things I haven't seen before. Like this, I don't know what it's made of, but it's so delicious." She pointed at the things on the plate. Lin Yu didn't know what that thing was. It should be a new food invented after coming to the alien beast continent. "Well, I took that one too. It's really good." Lin Yu ate and smiled. Xiao Yi was concerned about Lin Yu's injury again, and Lin Yu agreed. Time flew by and it was afternoon. Suiyo City is divided into 3 districts. In the Kaienke district in the north, Lin Yu also learned that the overlord of the Kaienke district is a first-generation family, the Zhao family. The entire Suiyo is full of Zhao's industry. Then there is the Mingluan district in the middle, where many families coexist. The Zhou building is here, and there are also large and small forces mixed together. Lin Yu is now in the Mingluan district. There is also a Jeshui district, which is named after the beautiful lake called Jeshui Lake. There are many forces here, but they are all very obedient. Why? Because the city lord's mansion is in Jeshui district, and Suiyo is here, so no one dares to act recklessly. Kaienke district and Jeshui district are about the same size, and Mingluan district in the middle is the largest. However, Lin Yu, who looked at the map, was really shocked. Suiyo has a permanent population of over 20 million, which is equivalent to a super first-tier city in the 21st century, but the land area is several times that of those super first-tier cities. After Lin Yu was shocked, he thought about it carefully and there was no problem. The road alone was much larger. There are roads specially for exotic beasts to travel, and there are many inns in the city, and there are animal inns specially for exotic beasts to wash and fill their stomachs. Although the population is about the same, there are many reasons that lead to the large area of Suiyu. After Lin Yu accompanied Yun Kizozi and others to play in the morning, he felt much better. As the afternoon drew to a close, Lin Yu left the inn alone. Even Lin Jiju was not brought along. She had recently become particularly interested in a special snack called stinky tofu. This kind of thing was also sold in Lin Yu's hometown, but it was not the real place of origin after all. People said that it smelled stinky but tasted good, but Lin Yu didn't like to eat it anyway. But last night, Lin Jiju saw people eating it and was very happy, but it was stinky. She said that she couldn't suppress her curiosity and bought some things, and she couldn't stop from eating it. She also brought it back to the inn and insisted that Lin Yu eat it. Lin Yu didn't like to eat this since China, so how could he be tempted by her? But Xiaoai and the others were pried open. On the road, an elephant ran over, making a long sound, and then sprayed water from its big nose, similar to the sprinkler truck in China, in order to prevent dust and the road surface from being too dry. It was summer at this time, the weather was hot, and there was not much rain. Lin Yu guessed that this elephant must have been created by 3 generations of people. His purpose was to take a walk in this unfamiliar place, maybe he would settle down here and live a comfortable life in the future. I am probably the most insignificant system owner, Lin Yu thought more openly. Unconsciously, there seemed to be a school in front of him. The architectural style was mixed with various elements, but the ones here were much larger than those in China. It was a gate made of a kind of bluestone brick, with a height of more than 30 meters and an estimated length of nearly 200 meters. There were many supporting pillars on both sides and in the middle, like a giant octopus. In the middle of the gate, there were 4 golden characters, which were shining even in the daytime. Tian Academy. When Lin Yu looked through, a high-level beast was driven out by a girl in Cheongsam. Lin Yu's eyes shifted to the girl again. She looked about 20 years old, with a curvy figure. In front of her was a pink pig, which was tied with a chain. The girl in the Cheongsam seemed to want to catch the pig, but the chain dragged on the ground. The pig ran very fast, grunting, attracting the attention of many passers-by. The system prompt came. Exotic beast, crystal pig high level 6, level 36. Qualification, alien, cannot mutate. Life, 10,000. Speed, 2,000. Defense, 5,000. Attack, 100. Skills, eat a lot, produce gold, metamorphosis. Eat a lot, increase appetite and accumulate energy. Gold production, produce Yuanjing, according to the amount of energy in the body. Metamorphosis, after using the skill of eating a lot, use this skill to refresh the skill of eating a lot, and then the accumulated energy and the quality of the generated crystals will double. After Lin Yu finished reading it, his heart was full of excitement. First of all, this pig has 10,000 health points. This is the first time that Lin Yu has seen a beast with 10,000 health points. Then there is the weird 100 attack points. Even a beginner beast is much stronger than this. Forgot that this is a pig, even a high-level pig. When he saw the skills behind, Lin Yu had a new evaluation. This is a tool pig. Yes, no wonder such a beautiful lady doesn't care about her image, but what is this pig running for? A pig that can produce crystals, it seems, produces quite a lot. Lin Yu stared at the pig. For some reason, the pig came straight to Lin Yu, and its speed was even faster than before. Hey, hey, hey. Don't come over here. Lin Yu was not afraid of a pig with only 100 attack power and no attack skills. He just rushed over with amazing power, and he instinctively wanted to avoid it. Seeing a big man avoiding a pig, many passers-by and people in the shops nearby smiled. Someone shouted from the sidelines to watch the fun. Pig rider! Pig rider! The voice sounded a little childish. It was actually a little boy with a short haircut, waving his fists. Laughter broke out around him. Lin Yu couldn't care less. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Survival of the Beasts, Awakening the Beast Taming System at the Beginning. Author, Ji Sheng Chong. Chapter 53. Don't come over here. If you come over again, I'm going to draw my sword, Lin Yu shouted in protest, pretending to draw his sword. The Cheongsam girl chasing behind him got anxious when she saw this. She quickly shouted out, and it sounded pretty good. It was nothing more than stop. No, however, she was an alien. Don't draw your sword, don't draw your sword. Hearing this, the crystal pig sped up a bit, and the fat on his body shook, inexplicably funny. Lin Yu didn't know why, facing the fierce beast, he didn't flinch, but it was this pig that made him retreat again and again, even he himself was a little confused. It can't be blood suppression. Then, Lin Yu was chased by the pig, and Lin Yu didn't fight, and there was no way to stop the crystal pig, which was really contradictory. The Cheongsam girl got angry and roared, radiating a range of 200 or 300 meters. The range remembered people and turned around. Stinky pig, I won't talk to you anymore. It sounds like what a girlfriend would say to her boyfriend when she's angry, but such a beautiful girl would say that to a pig. And the crystal pig stopped strangely. When the depressed Lin Yu heard this voice, he was surprised and sighed. After the Cheongsam girl said this, her pretty face turned red, and she turned and left. The crystal pig followed her obediently. She had a way, but she didn't use it because it was not suitable for public places. The result was the tragedy of Lin Yu being chased by a pig. Lin Yu hadn't observed the Cheongsam girl carefully. In his heart, this was actually very suitable. Yes, his aesthetic was like this. The Cheongsam girl was a little shy, and she didn't apologize to Lin Yu, and ran away in disgrace. Lin Yu secretly sighed that he was unlucky. He ignored the eyes of the crowd and came to the gate of the Tian Academy. At the entrance, there was a giant black light or made into a stone tablet. The strange thing is that words keep appearing on the stone tablet, just like a TV. A large display screen, and it must be waterproof if placed here. It is probably more durable than the display screen, and there is no warranty. There are probably a lot of things written on it, using Chinese. Lin Yu is only interested in one of them, as follows. The 3-year enrollment of the Tian Academy will be held on September 3 this year. The rules have changed this year. 1. Those below level 20 cannot take the entrance examination. 2. Must have a beast over level 20. 3. Age must not exceed 18. 4. The examinee must be Chinese. Lin Yu touched his chin. The first rule eliminated countless people, and there was another restriction that the age must not exceed 18. Check the rankings. Although there were only the top 100, Lin Yu did not brush the beasts much, so he was directly squeezed out by the fierce competition. And he is only level 26 now. The top 100 are all level 29. As for the first one, that is a madman at level 35. To reach level 35 in more than a month, what else could he be but a madman? Lin Yu even suspected that the first place had some kind of golden finger. Because the second place was 2 levels behind him. The whole 100 people, from level 29 to level 35. In fact, it was only level 33, because the first place was an exception. The higher the level, the more experience is needed to upgrade. The game settings are all like this. Let's talk about the Tian Academy. The system has a map function, but it is useless. It only shows the Wuhu mountain area. When someone enters the city, the map automatically shows several cities in the Wuhu mountain area. Lin Yu has read a lot of books and knows that the Wuhu mountain area is just a corner of the alien beast continent, but the threshold of the academy in a city in such a corner is so high. Level 20, although Lin Yu thinks it's nothing, after looking at the rankings, he thinks that this academy control may have something. Calculating the proportion, the scriptures record that the Wuhu mountain range is very large, but in the southeast corner of the entire alien beast continent, it is not an exaggeration to say that it is a small place. It is unknown how many people in the 4 generations of the entire alien beast continent have traveled here, but it can be seen from the rankings that there are not many people who are over level 20, and the proportion is about 15%. In the Wuhushan area, the probability is even lower, because the place is small and the population base is small. Lin Yu looked again and slapped his head. He fell into a misunderstanding. They don't only recruit 4 generations. There are 3 generations, 2 generation families, and 1 generation families. With this calculation, although the threshold is high, it is not outrageous. After writing down the name of the Tian Academy, Lin Yu thought of the girl chasing the pig. She was probably a student there. Maybe, going to school is a good choice. I don't know what they teach there. There won't be math and English, right? Lin Yu stared at the black stone tablet and muttered to himself. The nature of this Tian Academy is probably the same level as the universities in China. After all, the threshold is not low. In China, it should be a 985 or 211. Although Lin Yu was bound to a god-level system, he initially thought that he was going to start a counterattack in the alien beast continent, but later he felt that it was a matter of accumulation, and then he just took it slow. Until now, he feels a little indifferent. There is no need to be the world's number 1. After all, there are not so many people to step on him. Before, the Li family came and Lin Yu stepped on all the alien beasts, that's all. He felt that he didn't have the fate of being the protagonist. So going to the school, flirting with girls and fishing in troubled waters is also an option. As for the start of school, it will start in September, so there is still plenty of time. Young man. If you are here to register, come and register with me. At this time, an old man jumped out from nowhere. He said to Lin Yu, "Uncle, Do I have to come for the assessment after registering? The uncle smiled and shook his head, saying, "No, this year is special, the assessment is more strict, so registration is actually a screening function, it doesn't matter whether you come or not." The uncle looked gray-haired, but he was quite eloquent. Screening. How to screen by registering? Lin Yu asked curiously. "Okay, I'll register." The old man stopped talking, turned around and walked towards the gate, took out a palm-sized diamond crystal from the security room, and said to Lin Yu, "Drop a drop of blood on it." Lin Yu did as he was told, and then couldn't help but said, "Uncle, you are still a security guard at your age." The old man was stunned and said, "Do you believe me when I say I'm not old?" Survival of the Beasts, Awakening the Beast Taming System at the Beginning. Author, Ji-Sheng Chang. Chapter 54. When the old man said this, Lin Yu looked over at him. His skin was loose and wrinkled, but his eyes were bright. After observing him, Lin Yu said, "Uncle, sometimes it's a good thing to refuse to get old, but you must not be stubborn when you can't do something. Health is the most important." The old man was choked by this and wanted to refute, but he finally sighed. The diamond crystal stone held by the mobile phone was emitting black light at this time. His eyes drifted upwards, and Lin Yu couldn't see anything, but the old man's face showed surprise. 18 years old, Chinese, level 26. Are you a new fourth generation? After the old man glanced at the crystal stone, he looked at Lin Yu with a surprised look. Lin Yu didn't admit it, but glanced at the crystal stone and said, "Why can't I see anything? Is this the software you installed?" "Oh, you know software, fourth generation, tut-tut. This assessment is interesting. Level 26, do you have a high-level beast? With a high-level beast, you have a great chance of winning this time," the old man praised, and scanned him with a somewhat fiery gaze. Lin Yu was very curious about these things, but the old man's focus was on Lin Yu's strength, while Lin Yu was interested in the crystal stone. So the conversation was irrelevant. "Uncle, where did you install this software? How many yuan? I will install one too." Lin Yu rubbed his hands. "Hey, kid, you haven't answered my question yet. Do you have a high-level beast?" The old man suddenly became a little more fierce, and a sense of oppression came over him. For some reason, Lin Yu was not afraid of this old man at all, and didn't care about his origins. He curled his lips and said, "Tell me and I will tell you." "You are getting more and more greedy." The old man widened his eyes and snorted, "This young man. Can you still negotiate conditions?" "Okay, I have something else to do, so I'll leave first." Lin Yu smiled and waved goodbye to him. The old man blew his beard and glared, opened his mouth, and finally snorted and turned away. Lin Yu stepped away. This large urban area looks quite old and has a sense of age. Lin Yu walked aimlessly. Not long after, a middle-aged man sat by the flower bed in front. He looked to be in his 40s or 50s. He was holding a jar of wine and shaking his head. He must be drunk. It's just that the smell of wine wafted out, and it was quite fragrant. I heard from Zuzi and others that there was also a winemaking master in the tribe. He originally brought some out, but it was drunk. Zuzi boasted to Lin Yu about how delicious the wine was and how it tasted. In fact, it was a bit like playing the lute to a cow, because Lin Yu didn't drink. And at this moment, when he smelled this smell, he actually had an urge to go over and take a look. Unconsciously, he took a look at the middle-aged man. He was dressed simply but cleanly. He drank a sip of wine and sang a little tune. Lin Yu listened. It should be a song from somewhere in China. He couldn't understand it. Passers-by didn't know whether it was because of the smell of wine or the low singing of the middle-aged man, but many of them turned to look at him. When Lin Yu passed by, a hand suddenly came from behind. "This is not the old forest. Are there wolves? Where did the hand come from? Should I turn back?" Will the wolf bite my neck directly if I turn back? This thought flashed in his mind. He pushed away the hand, turned around, and took a closer look. The drunken middle-aged man appeared behind him without anyone noticing. Lin Yu didn't feel any movement at all. Weird, this middle-aged man is not simple. Two judgments appeared. Lin Yu took 2 steps back and his voice became colder. What's the matter? A middle-aged man should not get drunk for any reason. Being drunk is dangerous. Alcohol makes your reaction slow, and the chances of you being hurt by someone with bad intentions increase dramatically. Besides, you are drunk, why do you come to touch me? You smell of alcohol. Boy. You are good, are you willing to follow me? I will teach you all my skills. Although the middle-aged man seemed to be drunk, he spoke very fluently. Lin Yu's first reaction was to stay away from him. Without answering his question, Lin Yu was about to leave. Did someone communicate with you through the system when you first came here, and you bought his things? Lin Yu successfully stopped. So? Did you do it? This man looked drunk, but he didn't look drunk when he spoke, which was very strange. It wasn't me, but I instructed others to do it. What's the difference? In fact, I was nearby when you came here. Otherwise, how could it be such a coincidence that I just happened to sell you the blueprint you needed? The middle-aged man took another sip of wine. Lin Yu was silent. The systems of several generations are not interoperable. Don't you want to know how I did it? Lin Yu thought for a while and said, you are from the 3rd generation? And you are also a programmer. The middle-aged man was stunned and said, you have a big imagination, but it's not. I gave you what you needed just by chance, but now we meet again, it's fate. Besides, you are already level 26, not bad. Lin Yu didn't like this man at all. He didn't want to talk. He said thank you and turned away. Hey, what's the hurry? The middle-aged man chased after him and ran in front of Lin Yu to block his way. He smiled on his face. Actually, I didn't want to take you as an apprentice, but there was a school that needed you very much. It just so happened that I had a good relationship with the dean of the school, so I helped. Stop talking nonsense, okay? Do you think I'm easy to fool? Please move aside. Lin Yu walked forward, and the middle-aged man stepped back. I'm not lying to you, I'm really not lying to you, I can take you to see it. If I lie to you, I won't have any wine to drink in my life. How about it? I'm telling you in secret, you will never regret it if you go. The middle-aged man smiled a little obscenely. If you don't move aside, I won't be polite, Lin Yu said coldly. No, 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 I'm serious, cough cough. The middle-aged man pursed his lips and wiped his face with his hand. He was no longer drunk, and the smell of alcohol on his body disappeared without a trace. Lin Yu didn't show much surprise. In the alien beast continent, there are not only system players who can become stronger by taming beasts, but also those who don't taming beasts, those who specialize in practicing the Blood Emperor Sutra, and tribal residents. He also learned that there are some ancient ruins scattered on this ancient land. Some people have inherited and gained incredible power from the ruins. For example, Lin Yu's Hunter's Notebook. My last name is Tao, just call me Uncle Tao. I was just joking before, of course, I'm not inviting you to join the school. The middle-aged man who called himself Uncle Tao changed his previous appearance, and his voice was much more sincere, which sounded more convincing, but he still held the wine pot in his hand. At the beginning, I just did it casually, and I didn't expect you to get to this point today. It seems that you have good luck. Luck is very important for taming beasts. Lin Yu couldn't deny it. Survival of the Beasts, Awakening the Beast Taming System at the Beginning. Author, Ji Sheng Chong. Chapter 55. He continued, I'm not forcing you, but I can guarantee that if you come with me to see it, you won't regret it. Otherwise. He gritted his teeth and raised the jar of wine in his hand. He said harshly, "The remaining half of the jar of wine is yours." Lin Yu flattened his cheeks and took a detour. Hey, hey, hey. Boy, why don't you play your cards according to the routine? I'm serious, Uncle Tao called, but Lin Yu ignored him at all. I don't understand, am I easy to fool with my looks? He only left the sentence without looking back. Uncle Tao stamped his feet angrily, like a naughty child. Well, you come with me to take a look, and I'll tell you the secrets I know about the time travelers. A bombshell. Lin Yu turned around and said hesitantly, Really? Really, Good. Just as he opened his mouth, Lin Yu interrupted him and walked over with a smile. Uncle Tao closed his eyes, slapped his forehead, and sighed, Why did I get tricked by this guy like you? Hey, Lin Yu grinned, I just want to know how many truths you said. It's all the truth. Seeing Lin Yu's disbelieving look, Uncle Tao immediately said, It's funny, why did I lie to you, a little kid? Lin Yu stopped talking about this. Let's go, let's change places, why not, just go there. Lin Yu pointed to a shop not far behind him, a milk tea shop. Yes. However, Uncle Tao was somewhat resistant. That's a place only you kids go to. Let's go to a restaurant with me for a drink. After saying that, he pulled Lin Yu away. Of course Lin Yu would not compromise, and he didn't like drinking either. In that case, why don't I go buy milk tea, and you can take your wine and drink it inside, just in time to tell me your secrets. After thinking for a while, he said. But he still shook his head, I won't go. Okay, no more talking. It's not that this guy doesn't drink milk tea at all, but he thinks that this kind of place is only for young people and is not suitable for a mature and stable middle-aged person like him. Unexpectedly, people who seem to be rough and crazy will still have baggage. Lin Yu decided to leave. Uncle Tao stopped him again and said helplessly, Why are you more domineering than me, Tao Ba? Uncle Tao, see you next time. Lin Yu waved. Okay, boy, you win. Uncle Tao sighed, looking a little lost. Lin Yu disagreed. He discovered that this Tao Ba was particularly good at pretending. The milk tea shop is the product of 3 generations of people who came here. The decoration inside is slightly different from that in China. This milk tea shop is not big, and there is only one clerk and the owner working there. Lin Yu ordered a cup of classic drink and asked Tao Ba. Tao Ba still guarded his stubbornness. I found a seat at the very back and sat down. Uncle Tao, you can start your performance. Of course, don't talk nonsense in front of me. Tao Ba looked like he didn't dare, and said, How could I? What I said is absolutely true. Lin Yu didn't respond. Tao Ba pretended to clear his throat and said, A long, long time ago. Tell the important point. Okay, we crossed here because of the space-time vortex. Tao Ba's face looked quite serious. Don't know. We believe in science, right? But when you come here, do you still believe it? Tao Ba stared at Lin Yu. You haven't told me yet, what is the space-time vortex? I found that you really have a lot of personality. Do you know that if you go out and talk like this, you will be beaten? If it weren't for your Uncle Tao, I would be gentle. People like you always interrupt others and can't speak. Margin, I say 1, you have to say 2. In this way, we smart people don't do so many things, just listen to me. Tao Ba sounded speechless. Now he regretted that he had taken a liking to Lin Yu. This guy was not easy to deal with. Not easy to fool. But this time he didn't fight him. Cooperate, comrade. The so-called space-time vortex, this theory was also told to me by others. It is very complicated and has many types. One of them is called a wormhole. Lin Yu's eyes lit up. Theoretically, wormholes are both visible and invisible. At this point, Lin Yu opened his mouth, wanting to interrupt this guy, who always liked to talk nonsense. Just skip it. The one that brought us here is not a wormhole. Balabala talked a lot, but this was not the result. Lin Yu's mouth twitched. Seeing his expression, Tao Ba quickly said, he called this the moving storm. I don't know the details, but what I found creepy later was, after that person's research, it seems that the moving storm can be controlled, and we. Tao Ba didn't say any more. Lin Yu already understood what he meant. An idea grew in his heart, but he cut it off abruptly. He thought it was impossible and too terrible. If time travel is controlled by humans, then how powerful does this person have to be? God, can the gods in fantasy novels do it? The point is, gods in fantasy novels don't exist at all. Who is the person you are talking about? Lin Yu grasped the key point. I told you that you don't know. Why are you staring at me like that? I'm serious. What's the use of knowing his name? It's meaningless. At this time, milk tea came and Lin Yu took a sip. There is no plastic in alien beast continent. In order to restore the experience, the milk tea cup is made of who knows what, but has a pattern printed on it. The straw is made of paper, but it is not much different. The key is the taste, which still makes Lin Yu very satisfied. It does taste like this. Tao Ba took out the wine jar, took a sip, and said alas again. The clerk who came over glanced at him and walked to the counter silently. The thoughts were pulled back. The person who studies this thing, is he reliable? Also, I don't understand how the results were obtained, but is it possible that we are all dreaming, a very real dream? Lin Yu made a bold assumption. Tao Ba was silent for a while and said, I don't know. Someone told me before that his words made me tossing and turning. He said, I don't know where they went. I only saw smashed corpses and ferocious beasts covered in blood. Did he go back? Back. China. Is this really a game? The calm tone was extremely depressing. Tao Ba also showed a look of thought in his eyes. Lin Yu added, later I figured it out, you can't die. What if you really die? I stayed in the mountains and forests for a long time. I was lonely, helpless, and confused. All kinds of emotions tortured me every day. I met a group of friends later and got a little better. Then when I got here, I fell into a daze again. I thought about it. The main reason was that I didn't have the warmth of my home. The young man's words made Tao Ba think more highly of him. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Survival of the Beasts, Awakening the Beast Taming System at the Beginning. Author, Ji Sheng Chong. Chapter 56. I'm overcoming it, but I still feel a little uncomfortable. Lin Yu drank half a cup of milk tea in one breath. Tao Ba pondered for a long time, then suddenly jumped up and grabbed Lin Yu's arm. He was unable to break free for a while. The hand was like an iron pincer. He only had time to grab the remaining half cup of milk tea in his hand. Tao Ba paid the money and released a red horse with perfect muscle lines. There were flames flashing all over his body, with a bit of what Lin Yu thought was a sci-fi feel. Before he could react, Tao Ba pinned him down on the horse. Hey, you! Lin Yu wanted to ask him what he was doing, but the horse started running so hard that it almost fell over. At this time, the system sent a prompt. Extraordinary beasts, flying fire and cry, Lord level 1, level 41. Qualification, excellent. Lin Yu's heart has been replaced by holding grass. This is a Lord level horse. I didn't expect that the first time I saw a Lord level beast would be in such a scene. And he even sat on it. The fire was flying and crying very fast. When it turned a corner and entered the main road, it aroused countless looks and screams. Lin Yu was no longer in the mood to experience this feeling because the horse was running too fast. The traffic control department is enforcing the law, please stop and accept your cooperation. A loud and deep voice sounded in the air, and a bird and strange beast appeared in everyone's sight. Lin Yu heard it, but ignored it. Owner of the roaring fire. This is the last time. Please slow down, stop and cooperate. Are you talking about me? What's wrong with me? Speeding, Lin Yu looked confused. The strong wind caused by the extremely fast driving slapped his face, and Lin Yu did not dare to move because there was no saddle on the horse, so he could only cling tightly to it. Damn Tao Ba, how dare you trick me? Lin Yu realized what happened. What a coincidence that he was discovered not long after he got on the horse and ran. Then why is the traffic control department so idle? Lin Yu couldn't figure it out, but it must have been Tao Ba's fault. This guy has always been unhappy with me. Now it's over. He wanted to shout, I won't pay the fine. Refusal to cooperate should lead to direct arrest. But the key is, this horse is not mine. I can't control it. The intelligence of Lord-level beasts is no less than that of humans, and even some with noble blood can speak human language. So this fiery horse started to run and fill the cup, and Lin Yu became an innocent victim. A horse-like beast that is good at speed. A lord-level horse-like exotic beast with excellent bloodline, so how fast is it? In just 2 sentences, the law enforcement officer from the traffic control department couldn't even see the tail lights of Lin Yu's car. Including passers-by, they only feel that the heat wave hits and disappears in an instant. A red shadow flashed. It's gone. Not long after, the flying fire stream slowed down, but it was still very fast, leading Lin Yu into the alley. Alley horror. It was like riding a 50 or 60-mile motorcycle across a field. The alley was very small. This housing area looked very old. Lin Yu wanted to complain. Couldn't the road be made bigger? After wandering around for more than 10 minutes, I kept walking through the alleys and finally stopped in front of a yard. Lin Yu got off his horse and heard Tao Ba's voice before he even raised his head. Hey, how do you feel? Tao Ba had an intriguing smile on his face. Lin Yu glared at him fiercely and then moved away from him. Don't get so close to me. Hey, are you angry? Can you tell me why I was chased when I got on the road? Lin Yu asked. Tao Ba said, that must be my handsome little red guy, he's so popular. Lin Yu's face suddenly changed, and he resisted the desire to vomit, so you named a stallion Xiaohong. Okay, I won't talk to you anymore. Let's go in and take a look. Tao Ba suppressed the smile on his face, pushed open the courtyard door, and walked in. The yard is very large, and the yard wall is made of fences. Perhaps because it is not strong enough and does not feel safe enough, many trees are planted inside, and they are all photographed to form a tree wall. Lin Yu looked around and followed. When I walked in, I realized that the courtyard was really big, like a playground. At the front, there was a group of buildings, like a courtyard. While Lin Yu was looking around, he suddenly felt the temperature drop suddenly. Then, a cold word rang out, Tao Ba, you didn't come according to the prescribed time. Looking towards the source of the sound, Lin Yu first saw Tao Ba's serious profile, thinking that things were not simple, so he took a longer view. At the door of the main house in the courtyard, stood a woman in a white dress. She was too far away and Lin Yu couldn't see her face clearly, but for some reason, she felt that this woman was very powerful. Master, this was the goal we set at the beginning. I was in a hurry and lost him. When I found him in the city, he was already at level 26. Are you surprised? Hearing this, the woman's expression softened slightly. Lin Yu couldn't hear what the two of them were talking about, and didn't move forward or speak, but just stayed silent. Tao Ba turned around, glanced at Lin Yu, opened the courtyard door and left without saying anything. Lin Yu wanted to move, but found that he couldn't move and felt very uncomfortable. Lin Yu fell for Tao Ba, this cheater, and he was cheated. He sighed, his heart sinking. Why did you believe him? Lin Yu was originally just curious about what Tao Ba said, but after expressing his own views, he was directly held down. He felt aggrieved, but helpless. This guy was much stronger than himself, but he wanted to talk to him at first, but he might not have met his expectations, so he was directly tied up. Come here, level 26, among the 4 generations, it's not bad. The woman's cold voice came over. Lin Yu found that he could move. What kind of means did this woman use? It was like a magic trick. It was definitely not pleasant to be held in someone's hand. Lin Yu couldn't run away. In fact, he couldn't run away. The woman's means were like gods, and Tao Ba was very respectful in front of her, so there was only one choice left. That is, to move forward. When he got closer, he found that the woman was wearing a white dress, her black hair was tied up, and her appearance, how to say it? Her facial features were extremely delicate, her skin was as white as snow, but the overall look was a feeling of keeping people away from her. She was extremely beautiful, looking like she was in her 20s, but she wouldn't make anyone feel any blasphemy. Hello, Lord of the Mansion. My name is Lin Yu. When she was still 20 meters away from the woman, Lin Yu stopped and spoke calmly. The woman looked at Lin Yu with her eyes, and suddenly, her brows furrowed again. You are not practicing the Beast Taming Classic or the Blood Emperor Sutra. Survival of the Beasts, Awakening the Beast Taming System at the Beginning. Author, Ji Sheng Chong. Chapter 57. Lin Yu was shocked. He didn't know how she saw it. He nodded and flattered, the master has a keen eye. The woman ignored him and continued to look at Lin Yu carefully. A chill came over him. After a while. My name is Bai Shui, and I am the master of the ancient academy. A simple self-introduction. Lin Yu added, hello, Master Bai. She was not shy about being polite. Lin Yu felt that the title of Ice Master was very suitable for her. The temperament she exuded intentionally or unintentionally would not make people want to get close to her. Bai Shui said, have you practiced other skills? Forget it, this is your secret, you are lucky. Lin Yu did not answer. The ice beauties in the novels are very quiet, but Bai Shui is not like that. Then Bai Shui introduced the ancient academy to Lin Yu. Actually, I'm not from your blue star, nor am I from the alien beast continent. Can you understand? Lin Yu asked in confusion, where is that? You don't have to delve into this. My identity is the Lord of the Ancient Academy. Tao Ba followed you to find students for the Ancient Academy. If you feel disgusted, I apologize. Here Bai Shui's face was neither sad nor happy, but she sounded sincere. Lin Yu waved his hand quickly. Lord, you're too polite. He wanted to say something else, but didn't say it. The Ancient Academy has a long history. It is divided into the Martial Academy, the Beast Taming Academy, and the Universal Academy. Let's talk about the Martial Academy first. The inheritance of the Martial Academy is to use the power of heaven and earth to temper oneself, perfect the path, and have a promising future. Those 2 books, the Beast Taming Classic and the Blood Emperor Sutra, are just common things. The martial arts of the Martial Academy are much more advanced than them. The Beast Taming Academy is different from what you call the system. The Beast Taming Classic was created by someone in the Beast Taming Academy, and it was just played by others. I didn't expect it to become the mainstream now. You outsiders are really miserable. Lin Yu was a little shocked after hearing this. If Bai Shui is not bragging, then this ancient academy is really awesome. No wonder the system doesn't let me buy those 2 things. I finally figured it out. It turned out to be too low level. Lin Yu was relieved. Bai Shui continued, with the special power of the Beast Taming Classic, combined with special weapons, the method of subduing strange beasts can only be said to be low level. Lin Yu didn't dare to argue. As for the Wangxiang Academy, it covers everything. If you want to join, I recommend you to choose the Wu Academy. You're just in time. Let me introduce you. This is Lin Yu, who will join our ancient academy. Bai Shui waved at the door. The people who pushed open the gate were a woman and a child. Lin Yu felt that Bai Shui was trying to force a sale. He hadn't figured out the outcome of the matter yet, so he decided to hold his breath and see. When he came over, he found that the woman seemed to be only 15 or 16 years old. Her skin looked very healthy. She had a ponytail that swung as she walked, and her big eyes stared at Lin Yu curiously. As for the little girl, she was probably only 7 or 8 years old and silly. No, that can't be said. She should be described as cute. The older one is Kaiu Yao, and the younger one is Yao. Bai Shui introduced directly and concisely. Your daughter? Lin Yu asked tentatively. Kaiu Yao loved to laugh, and she always walked over with a smile. Now, Lin Yu didn't say hello first, but said this, and Kaiu Yao laughed out loud. Bai Shui shook her head and said, they are all my disciples. Lin Yu didn't pay special attention to Bai Shui's expression. Maybe this iceberg master has seen everything, and she is calm. But Lin Yu thinks Bai Shui is expressionless. An expressionless iceberg beauty. It seems to fit the character setting in the novel. My mind was full of random thoughts, and I didn't know where my thoughts were drifting. I stretched out my hand and said to Qiu Yao, hello, I am Lin Yu, Lin of the forest, Yu of the words. Qiu Yao pouted cutely, and although she didn't know why, she stretched out her hand and shook hands with Lin Yu. Qiu Yao, the dean of Wangxiang Academy. What, dean? Lin Yu's eyes widened. He first looked at Qiu Yao, then turned his head to look at Bai Shui, and his eyes were clearly questioning. A little girl who is not even as old as me is actually the dean? Why is it like a joke? Kaiu Yao snorted like a spoiled child, and said, don't believe it? This girl is all-encompassing, omnipotent, and omniscient. Lin Yu, right? Do you dare to challenge me in a one-on-one fight? Looking at the girl who suddenly got angry, the smile on her beautiful face disappeared. It's not that I don't believe it. Before Lin Yu finished speaking, Yaya, who had been silent, spoke up. The little girl was delicate and beautiful, especially lovable, but at this moment, she was like a child, and said in a baby voice, Sister Yao Yao is very powerful, I bet you are not her opponent. Lin Yu glanced at the little girl and couldn't help laughing. The girl tilted her head and stared at Lin Yu. But it really made people feel angry. He resisted the urge to hug her in his arms, and put his eyes on Kaiu Yao and made a joke, if we meet in a way that we don't know each other, do we have to become sworn brothers next? Puff. Kaiu Yao was successfully amused by Lin Yu, and didn't say anything, but took Yaya's hand. Yeah. The dean of the Beast Taming Academy. After saying that, Qiu Yao also deliberately observed Lin Yu's expression. Unfortunately, it was not as she imagined. She was just a little surprised, but not as surprised as when she first knew that she was the dean of the Universal Academy. The girl was innocent, with a look of dissatisfaction on her face, saying, you seem to think it's reasonable. Lin Yu felt that Kaiu Yao was really very familiar, and liked to act coquettishly and joke around, lively and cheerful, which made him, who was a little silent, a little overwhelmed. Since that was the case, Lin Yu was not polite, and smiled and said, is there any difference? What's the difference? Kaiu Yao was still confused. Then she narrowed her beautiful eyes and finally realized that she was talking about the difference between her and Yaya. She actually compared this girl with a little girl. Ah! Of course she didn't look down on Yaya. Kaiu Yao was about to speak, and Lin Yu smiled like a spring breeze, Dean, you don't have to show off your special skills. I'm just here to visit. Lord Bai, thank you for meeting me, but everything is too abrupt and too dramatic. I think, it still needs to be considered. Kaiyeo's strength is that she can control herself and hold the scale in her hand. At this moment, she didn't speak, just looked at Bai Shui, waiting for her answer. Bai Shui was still the same. Lin Yu politely refused, and there was no emotion on her face. Lin Yu was actually nervous. Not to mention that Tao Ba was a scumbag who came and went in a hurry, and threw out a lord-level beast, and he wanted Lin Yu to arrive first after finishing the job. Survival of the Beasts, Awakening the Beast Taming System at the Beginning. Author, Ji Sheng Chong. Chapter 58. Yaya started making trouble again at this time. Before Lin Yu could say anything else, Yaya waved her hand, a heavy sound sounded, and then, a teddy bear appeared on the ground. Humph! How dare you underestimate me? Yaya stared at Lin Yu and then said to the teddy bear, Xiong Xiong, he bullies me, help me teach him a lesson. Lin Yu was startled. He didn't expect such a big bear to be hidden in such a small body. But after a while, Lin Yu was shocked. He saw the terrifying attributes of this teddy bear through the system. Exotic Beast, Dalaji Ba Bear Lord Level 9, Level 49. Qualification, Alien Species, can mutate again. Life, 2,500,000. Speed, 250,000. Defense, 5 million. Attack, 1 million. Skills, Powerful Bear Paw, Cuteness, Moving Golden Body randomly. Powerful Bear Paw slams the ground to summon a combination of earth elements and bear paws to attack the enemy, attack power bonus 300%. Cuteness, shrunk down to the size of a bear cub and squealing at the enemy, which has a high probability of increasing the enemy's favor. Mobile Golden Body, after activating the skill, Dolly Heba Bear will gain a golden body for 30 seconds, immune to Lord level, and some enemy attacks can be continuously enhanced with levels. Lin Yu really didn't expect that this cute little girl could subdue such a terrifying beast, even though it was a bit unethical. Lin Yu's expression changed in an instant, and he said with a smile, ha ha ha, Yaya turns out to be so powerful, so it seems that Yaya is even more powerful. Lin Yu's voice was trembling. Although Yaya looked harmless, who knew what kind of person he was? After all, they just met him today. Just as Lin Yu was thinking this, a very charming voice suddenly came from outside the wall. Hey, who am I talking about? It turns out you guys are robbing me of GenUntian Academy for students again. A woman appeared at the door. She crossed her arms and looked at the people in the yard fiercely. With a wave of her hand, more than a dozen Lord-level beasts flew out of her sleeves and surrounded everyone in the ancient academy. Humph, are you guys deliberately trying to go against our GenUntian Academy? The cold and charming woman stared at everyone in the ancient academy with a hint of murderous intent in her eyes. No, no. Bai Shui shook his head and Gujing Buobo's face showed a hint of fear. Master Leng, how can I go against GenUntian Academy? Then Bai Shui smiled, pushed Lin Yu, and said, I just invited him in for a cup of tea. Lin Yu, who was watching all this, felt a chill in his heart. It's all fake, it's all fake. Suddenly, Bai Shui and others suddenly changed, and in the blink of an eye, a kettle-shaped object appeared in the air. After the few people disappeared, it suddenly appeared in the pot and put Lin Yu in it. The cold mechanical sound sounded in Lin Yu's ears. Space shuttle program starts. Then there was a flash of light. Then the rejoicing voices of the people from the ancient academy came out again. Huh, I escaped. It's too dangerous to escape with my life again. Bai Shui stuck out her tongue and patted her small chest and said dangerously, with an expression on her face that she was surviving a disaster. This scene made Lin Yu dumbfounded. Several people around him gasped and nodded wildly in agreement. It's all pretending, it's all pretending. However, Lin Yu was just thinking about it in his heart. Realizing his current situation, Lin Yu suddenly panicked. Palace Master, can you let me go? My clothes are still confiscated. As soon as he finished speaking, the familiar charming voice came from outside the pot again. Ha 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 ha, you guys, do you really think that our GenUntian Academy has not studied your tricks? Ha 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 ha, this is too underestimated by our GenUntian Academy. Come out and see where you are. A smile filled the corners of Lin Yu's mouth. Young man, you still have to fight me with this little ability. The people from the ancient academy looked at their surroundings, with a hint of panic in their eyes. The space is now sealed. What should I do? I haven't fulfilled my father's last wish. I don't want to be locked up. Yaya looked a little depressed. Lin Yu giggled. He knew that this situation meant that he was saved. Before Lin Yu could laugh out loud, there was a hint of determination in Bai Shui's eyes. Then he said coldly, "Start ultra-long-distance teleportation." Then the kettle began to tremble violently, emitting a shocking light. Then the cold mechanical sound sounded again. The ultra-long-distance transmission has begun, the self-destruction program has started, charging is in progress, and the transmission is completed. The light slowly faded, the lid of the pot was opened, and everyone walked out. What's this? Yaya asked in confusion. Qiu Yao and Bai Shui both shook their heads. It's not important anymore. What's important is that we will settle around here in the future. Yaya felt the atmosphere was depressing and didn't say anything. She lowered her head in frustration. Then he suddenly raised his head and said happily, "It's okay. Lin Yu has been captured by us anyway. As long as he is taught well, it is very possible to fulfill his father's last wish." Qiu Yao and Bai Shui also smiled, unable to hide the helplessness in their eyes. Then we nodded together. We can only treat the dead horse as a living horse, doctor. Then they all turned to look at Lin Yu, startling Lin Yu, who was still confused. "Sisters, what are you doing?" The frightened little eyes have nowhere to rest. Bai Shui smiled at Lin Yu. "We won't do anything to you, don't worry." Qiu Yao and Yaya also nodded together. "Together, we will teach you everything we know and make you the strongest person in the 4th generation." Lin Yu was confused. "Why? Don't worry about it. There will be a genius meeting in a year. It is a martial arts event that happens once in 100 years. We want you to come out on top. Do you understand? This is not what I want, but my father's last wish. He has always generation. Every son wants to teach a few outstanding disciples in his own college, so the 3 of us sisters are going to fulfill our father's last wish." 3 sisters, Lin Yu was a little shocked. They were indeed a family. Each of the 3 sisters was more beautiful than the last. Then Lin Yu nodded, "Okay." The 3 sisters cheered. Then Bai Shui walked up to Lin Yu, waved his hand and released a strange beast. "Lin Yu, you have just entered our ancient academy, and we have nothing to give you. Let this sky-eyed firefox be your entrance gift." Exotic beast, Sky-Eye Firefox Lord level 9, level 49. Qualification, alien species, can mutate again. Life, 5000000. Speed, 9999999. Defense, 9999999. Attack, 999,999. Skills, Sky-Eye, Fire Sweeping. Sky-Eyes, the unique skill of Sky-Eye's Firefox. After activation, it can check the fatal weaknesses of any creature of Lord level and below. Fire Skimming, Sky-Eyed Firefox walks in the fire, and its attack power is increased to full value. Lin Yu's eyes were a little straightened as he looked at it. These and this, such awesome beasts, are they going to be given to him? Lin Yu looked at Bai Shui suspiciously. "Don't doubt it. If the Tianjiao Association only allows people over 20 years old to participate, how could we place our hopes on you?" You can take it as long as you can help my father fulfill his last wish. Bai Shue's beautiful eyes moved slightly, looking at Lin Yu with a somewhat complicated expression. Lin Yu felt secretly happy. Good guy, what a generous act. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Survival of the Beasts, Awakening the Beast Taming System at the Beginning. Author, Ji Sheng Chong. Chapter 59. Now put a drop of blood on the head of Tianjing Firefox, and you will be his master from now on. Bai Shui couldn't help but laugh when she saw Lin Yu's ignorant look. If I let him know that I also have a beast with full attack power, skill, and attribute increased 10 times, will he explode on the spot? Hey hey. Just as she was thinking this, Bai Shui's face became slightly calmer, and then she handed the strange beast to Lin Yu. The biggest function of Tianjing Firefox is his skill Tianjing. For you now, using this skill well can quickly improve your strength in a short time. Of course, his attacks will also help in a short time. But after you practice the 10,000 stars beast art for a period of time, your attacks will soon surpass his. Lin Yu was shocked. The biggest function of such an awesome beast is the ability to identify weaknesses. Shouldn't it be speed defense or something? He secretly complained about his lack of knowledge and then looked at Bai Shui with expectant eyes. Palace Master, when will you pass on this 10,000 stars beast art to me? Lin Yu's eyes shone. It could increase his attack by tens of thousands, so this technique was a good thing. Bai Shui chuckled again, and then said, the energy generated by the 10,000 star beast art is too violent, and it can only be practiced after level 30. My two younger sisters, Qiu Yao and Yaya, practiced too hastily, and put Wan Xing beast art to the test. The star beast art was split into the 10,000 star art and the 10,000 beast art, resulting in a lack of power. After looking at Lin Yu, Bai Shui continued, so if you practice at level 26, you will be exploded by the energy. You will not be able to absorb the energy of the 10,000 stars beast art at all. So Bai Shui looked at Lin helplessly. He glanced at me and said, just practice your leveling. When you reach level 30, I will teach you the 10,000 star beast art. Don't be in a hurry. Lin Yu finally understood that the emotion skill can only be practiced after reaching level 30. Lin Yu had a look of anticipation on his face. Okay, from now on, the three of us sisters will accompany you to level up, so hurry up and reach level 30. Bai Shui looked at Lin Yu seriously. Lin Yu nodded. 3 minutes later. The territory of the 49th level Lord Huang Tuhao. The three sisters summoned their own strange beasts. Shenmue Ape. Flame Crane. King Kong Tiger. Squirtle. After a burst of explosions. Come on, Lin Yu, kill him. Ding. Upgrade to level 27. 5 minutes later. Level 45 Lord Vine Demon Territory. Come on Lin Yu, kill him. Ding. Upgrade to level 28. An hour later. Level 49 Lord Desert Elephant Territory. Come on Lin Yu, kill him. Beauty and Beast mixed together to form a different kind of beauty, which made Lin Yu burst into tears. Ding. Upgrade to level 30. Huh. Bai Shui, Qiu Yao and Yaya sat slumped on the ground, dripping with sweat and panting. Lin Yu looked at the scene in front of him and smiled happily. It's so fast. I'm level 30 in less than a day. Hey hey. Looking at the three masters in front of him, Lin Yu's heart moved. Then he shook his head, it was too dangerous and he should think about this later when he becomes more powerful. After another period of silence, it was time for the three sisters to chatter and teach the 10,000 stars beast art. Are you ready, Lin Yu? Bai Shui looked at Lin Yu solemnly, with a hint of worry in her expression. Lin Yu secretly cursed in his heart, doesn't this little girl have a dual personality? How can she be serious and naughty at the same time? I really can't guess which one is the real her. He shook his head, sighed in his mind, and then nodded immediately. Ready, Palace Master. Looking at Bai Shui's delicate and pretty face, Lin Yu was thinking wildly. He suddenly thought of the terror this woman had just shown, then shook his head and muttered silently, I'm not strong enough now, I'm not strong enough now, wait until I am stronger than them. Let's talk later. Bai Shui nodded, then slapped Lin Yuxian's spirit cap with a palm. Bang. Is it mind reading? This was Lin Yu's last thought before his consciousness disappeared. After an unknown amount of time, a reminder woke Lin Yu up. Ding, get the legendary skill 10,000 stars Beast Ju. Lin Yu slowly woke up and found himself lying on the bed. His clothes had been replaced with new ones, and the sheets were also new. Lin Yu didn't think much and started to check the newly acquired skills. Kung Fu, 10,000 stars Beast Ju. Quality, Legendary. Level, 1. Attack, 100,000. Speed, 100,000. Defense, 100,000. Detailed description, a technique created by a generation of god-level beast masters who observed the sky at night and heard the roars of beasts. The power of using it on strange beasts or under the sky is increased by 10 times, and the combined power of the two is increased by 50 times. Lin Yu was stunned and couldn't say anything for a long time. This technique is a bit too powerful. Suddenly, Lin Yu thought of the three beautiful sisters, and his heart moved, and a wicked smile escaped from the corner of his mouth. Hey, then the plan will be realized soon. Suddenly, Lin Yu realized that three eyes were on him, and felt a chill all over. When he looked up, he found that the three sisters were looking at him, their faces a little red. Lin Yu asked in confusion, where are we now? Where did this house come from? Who changed my clothes? Looking at the three sisters, Lin Yu asked three deadly questions. The faces of the three sisters were already very red, but when Lin Yu asked this question, their faces turned redder than a ripe peach, making people want to eat them in one bite. How can I put it this way, you bullied the three of us and you beat us up even after you wiped us out. Bai Shui sighed secretly in her heart. Humph, Lin Yu, you've made me like this and you're still asking. Yaya thought shyly. Qiu Yao was much more straightforward, this is none of your business. Anyway, you just have to practice our 10,000 stars beast art now. Don't be lazy in bed and go level up. Looking at Lin Yu, Qiu Yao couldn't care less about the turmoil between her and the man in front of her, and said straightforwardly. The three of us have given you the most precious thing. Don't let us down. There is only 1 year until the Tianjiao competition. If you don't get the first place, be careful that the three of us will beat you to death. Qiu Yao waved her fist at Lin Yu. Lin Yu's neck shrank at the sight, then he got off the bed and said to Bai Shui and the others, don't worry, with this technique, no one can compete with me first. Everyone laughed. No one knew that the four people who were laughing just now were intimate on this bed. After Lin Yu went out, the three sisters gathered together. After each of them was shy for a few minutes, Yaya said, this kid is really getting an advantage. Let him eat all three of us by himself. There is no way. Our kung fu can only be practiced by a family. If not, then he won't even be able to get in. How can he fulfill his father's last wish and win the first place in the Tianjiao Association? Bai Shui said. We'll try to find a handsome guy who can barely look at him. If it's an ugly guy, we'd rather die than teach him this technique. That's right, but it still gives him an advantage. It's better to wait until the Tianjiao meeting is over. Qiu Yao made a scissor gesture. Lin Yu, who was hunting lord-level exotic beasts, felt a chill. Forget it, it's too cruel, just treat it as a dog bite. Okay, okay, okay. The sisters shook their heads helplessly. Survival of the Beasts, Awakening the Beast Taming System at the Beginning. Author, Ji Sheng Chong. Chapter 60. Huh. After hunting a strange beast with great difficulty, Lin Yu was a little tired and felt a little weak in the kidneys. Lin Yu was a little confused, but he didn't think too much and opened the store casually. Wow! What a thing! The store that I hadn't seen for a long time turned into a department store, and there was a line of words floating on the top, "Welcome the trillionaire to our store." Lin Yu was a little dazed, and looked at his balance, and immediately understood. The balance column clearly said 199,871 billion. Looking at the products again, they all ended with 100 million. For example, the Star Splitter battleship, the price is 999 trillion. And the Shield Treasure Gourd, the price is 777 trillion. Lin Yu was stunned. He thought he could make a lot of purchases, but he didn't expect the store to teach him a lesson. Continuing to read down, Lin Yu was shocked again and again. Exotic Beast, Time and Space Beast Lord Level 9, Level 49. Qualification, Alien, Top. Life, 999, 9999. Speed, 999, 9999. Defense, 999, 9999. Attack, 999, 9999. Skills, Time Travel, Time Tearing, Time Imprisonment, Time Acceleration, Time Reversal. Time Travel, the Time and Space Beast activates a skill that allows it to travel to any time and space, any place. Time Tearing, the Time and Space Beast activates a skill that tears all the space in an area into a space fragmentation zone, instantly crushing the creatures that enter it. Imprisoning Space and Time Beast activates a skill to imprison an area. Time and Space Acceleration, Space and Time Beast activates a skill to accelerate a space and time. Time and Space Reversal, Space and Time Beast activates a skill to reverse the space and time of an area. Look at the price, it's not expensive, just half a treasure gourd, 300 trillion. Lin Yu was speechless, because he couldn't afford these things alone. Continue to look down and finally Lin Yu found one that he could afford. Evolution Potion. Quality, God. Defense, 0. Durability, 0. Evaluation, after drinking it, any creature will evolve by 1 level, the highest Lord level, and increase potential. The price is very cheap, only 10 trillion. Lin Yu bought it speechlessly and threw it to Lao Jin beside him. Old Jin, you've been with me for so long, I don't have much to give you, let you evolve. Pet, Earth Shaker. Level, Advanced Mutation Level 3, Level 23. Life, 60,000. Attack Power, 25,000. Speed, 6,000. Defense, 30,000. Qualification, Mutation, can be mutated. Skills, Tear, Rage, Crush. Tear, increases own strength by 10%. Rage, in the state of not recognizing relatives, all attributes are increased by 20%, and anyone you see will be beaten. Crush, claws have a penetrating effect, attacking beasts of the same level ignores defense. Old Jin's attributes are still good among ordinary beasts, but it's a pity that he followed a genius master. Old Jin took the evolution potion and nodded to Lin Yu gratefully. Then a treasure light flashed. Pet, Earth Shaker. Level, Lord Level 3, Level 43. Life, 843,0000. Attack Power, 250,0000. Speed, 999,9999. Defense, 999,9999. Qualification, Mutation, can be mutated. Skills, Tear, Rage, Crush. Tear, increases own strength by 1000%. Rage, in the state of not recognizing relatives, all attributes are increased by 2000%, and anyone seen will be beaten. Crush, claws have penetrating effect, attacking the same level beasts ignoring defense. Wow, good guy. Lin Yu was happy, worthy of being my pet, it is awesome after evolution. After that, he took his baby Lao Jin to go to the wild. Lao Jin, scratch him. Snowy mountain terrain, 48th level Lord Polar Ice Bear territory. Lin Yu was very excited when he saw the polar ice bear crawling on the ground after being beaten. He also had such a strong beast. Hee, seeing the polar ice bear not moving, Lin Yu smiled and picked up the newly bought sky-splitting blade. Ding! Upgraded to level 31. Shaking his head helplessly, Lin Yu had no choice. Relying solely on hunting Lord-level monsters was not enough for him now. The upgrade was too slow. He returned the polar ice bear to the store and began to think about the way to improve his strength. I have now practiced the 10,000 star beast art. As long as I hunt monsters, I can upgrade, and my strength will be qualitatively improved under monsters and the sky. However, I can't beat the god-level monsters now. Forget it, save money to buy a space-time beast. Lin Yu shook his head and sighed. It is still necessary to have a powerful monster. A week later, as the last Lord-level monster fell within 100,000 miles, Lin Yu also saved enough money to buy a space-time beast. Ding! Upgraded to level 33. Lin Yu opened the store, turned to the column of space-time beasts, and clicked to buy. Instantly, a strange beast fell into Lin Yu's arms. Strange beast, space-time beast Lord level 9, level 49. Qualification, alien, top. Life, 9999999. Speed, 9999999. Defense, 9999999. Attack, 9999999. Skills, traveling through time and space, tearing apart time and space, imprisoning time and space, accelerating time and space, reversing time and space. Travel through time and space, the time and space beast activates its skills to travel to any time and space, and to any place. Tear space and time, the space-time beast activates its skills to tear all the space in an area to form a space fragmentation zone, instantly crushing the creatures that enter it. Confining time and space, the time and space beast activates its skills to imprison an area. Time and space acceleration, the time and space beast activates its skills to accelerate a piece of time and space. Reverse time and space, the time and space beast activates its skills to turn back time and space in an area. Looking at the attributes in front of him, Lin Yu felt happy. Now my progress in clearing the jungle can be accelerated. Confining time and space, hey, can you stand still and let me poke you? It's comfortable. Hurry up and try it. Lin Yu thought to himself, and then happily rode Lao Jin to look for the next Lord-level monster. After a while, the territory of level 48 Lord Tianqing Yanyu. Confining time and space. The time and space around Tianqing Yanyu stopped momentarily. Lin Yu ran over excitedly, raised the knife in his hand, and separated a big bull's head from the Yanyu. Then Lin Yu ran away. Release. The head of the yak fell to the ground, and the blood from its neck spurted far away. Hee, it's done. Lin Yu smiled, then collected the materials and sold them to the canteen before continuing to look for the next prey. A month later. A temporary home for 3 sisters. Snowy bedroom bed. Lin Yu lay on the bed and hugged Bai Shue's neck, speaking slowly. Begs you, do you regret it? Bai Shue lay in Lin Yu's arms, her snow-white body naked but not shy at all. Instead, she said carelessly, I don't regret it. You are such a magical boy. I have never seen anyone who can level up so fast. Then he smiled and said, my father's last wish will definitely come true. Seeing the man in front of her who had risen to level 100 in just a few months, Bai Shue felt very regretful. Outside the room, Don't stop me, Yaya, this pervert has been playing with my sister for several days. I need to castrate this pervert to relieve the hatred in my heart. Chiu Yao said harshly outside. Yaya was helpless. Sister Chiu Yao, that bastard is level 100. Not to mention the two of us, even Sister Bai Shui suffered the humiliation from that bastard. Let's endure it and wait until Tianjiao passes. Then asshole. After reaching the first place, the three of us will absorb its power back.